Authority's Edge with Michael Pacheco, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet. Hear their stories and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Authority's Edge with Michael Pacheco is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Michael Pacheco.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever you are watching or listening to this podcast. Welcome to the Authority's Edge, brought to you by Strategic Advisor Board and Boxer Media and Growth Marketing, where we speak to successful entrepreneurs, industry experts, and thought leaders while exploring how leveraging trust and authority can give smart businesses a competitive edge. I'm your host, Michael Pacheco, managing partner at Boxer Media and Growth Marketing, and today with me I have Doug Holt. Doug is the co-creator of the Powerful Man movement, which helps men step into their power, fulfill their potential, and live a life they truly love. He believes that men can work smarter, not harder, and that life wants everyone to succeed. By focusing on managing their energy instead of their time, Doug's program helps men embrace their passions and bring the fire into living the life they love. The Powerful Man movement has received positive testimonials from men across the globe who have experienced major shifts in their personal and relationships, in their personal lives and relationships. Doug, welcome to the Authority's Edge.
Thanks for having me, Michael. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, brother, I'm excited to have you here. I appreciate you making time to sit down and chat with me. So to open the podcast, I always like to just invite our guest to tell us a little bit more about yourself in your own words and why you do what you do.
Yeah. Well, thank you. So I've been a serial business owner. I've been an interim CEO, CMO for companies. I've owned, bought, and sold companies throughout my life. So I've been a classic entrepreneur, if you will. And throughout that time, I've also consulted and coached. I've coached men and women. And it was about 4 years ago or so, I got involved with the original founder of the Powerful Man, Tim Matthews. And the reason we focus on men is because we're guys and we just know how guys are. And why do we focus on business owners and executives? Well, it's because, work doesn't turn off at 5 p.m. for a business owner. You're always thinking about it. You got payroll, taxes, mergers, acquisitions, whatever it may be that's on your mind. And where I found a lot of passion here, Michael, is, and maybe your listeners will understand, is we worked with married business owners because I was one of them. And most married business owners, guess what? They tend to have problems in their relationships. So we developed a program called the Activation Method it's worked for thousands of business owners to help them save their marriage without talking about it or going to counseling. And a lot of it has to do with drawing out the man that's inside of them, the man they've kind of lost along the way. And that was really amazing to me because as I was working with a Powerful Man, I was still working other jobs, as a lot of the people can relate to here. As entrepreneurs, we're a little crazy, but seeing these men change their lives, and not only for themselves, but for their families, and getting letters from their children and their wives about, hey, you brought my dad back, or men saying, you helped me find me again. It's just so rewarding. And talking about with you, and you guys at Boxer Growth Media have helped along the way with us to get that message out there. Not a lot of people want to talk about, hey, guess what? My marriage isn't working. My wife feels more like a roommate with a ring is something we commonly hear. Or another thing we commonly hear is, gosh, I'm lying 6 inches away from my wife, yet we feel like we're 6 miles apart. And that's just sad. And it's so common. And, when you talk about authority and creating authority online, you're clearly an expert, and I've been able to pick your brain on how to do that. And it allows us to get our message so we can really serve more people.
Yeah, I love that, Doug. I love what you do. Full disclosure for those listening and watching, Doug, you are, of course, my personal coach. I'm also a member of the Powerful Man, and we're business partners as well. So I can attest to all of the great work that you guys do. I've been one of the men that you have changed in such a fundamental way. I'm really excited to have you on this podcast and chat more about that. So again, thank you for making the time to chat with me, and thank you for telling us a little bit more about that.
Oh yeah, well, again, I'm excited to be here, Michael. I'm excited to talk to your audience, and let's go into it and see if we can deliver some value.
So we on this podcast, we focus really on the competitive edge, right? That authority, building authority and building trust in the marketplace in general can give to a business. How does Doug Holt define trust and authority within the context of what you guys do at The Powerful Man?
That's an interesting question. And, in a former life, when I was in my early 20s, I had 3 companies. It was only a crazy 20-year-old would do, right? And one of them is I had a really high-end personal training studio. At the time, I had 18 different degrees and certifications, more than anybody in the world in the area of health and fitness, right? But yet, when I would tell family members something, I would tell friends something, or even clients that were paying me good money to advise them, they took it with a grain of salt. When I was featured in Men's Fitness magazine, all of a sudden I was an expert. Same people, I'm still the same guy, but now they're seeing me in an authoritative state, right? They're seeing me being represented by Men's Fitness is obviously publishing my information. I've been published in a lot of places since then, but that gave me the authority, right? That gave me the clout, if you will. And now we're in a digital age, Michael, and in the digital age, for our voice to be heard, we need to be everywhere. We need to be omnipresent. And you'll see this with a lot of people. If any business person that's online has run into Gary Vaynerchuk or Grant Cardone or, Alex Hormozy or any of these people. The thing that all 3 of those gentlemen, and there's a myriad more. I could say the same thing about, women who are out there, like Layla Hormozy would be another person who I really admire and respect. They all have been saying this for years, is you have to be everywhere. And the reason you have to be everywhere is, you go down the classic funnel, which is people need to know you before they can like you, before they can trust you. And unfortunately, that's a lot of business owners. You could be the best widget maker or whatever you do in your profession. If people don't know about you, you're never going to be successful. You can't help people. You can't serve them. So they have to know you. They have to like you. So you have to have a medium that allows yourself to be likable. And the best way to do that is to be authentic, right? We all know that coming through. There are going to be people that watch this that don't like me for whatever reason. And I'm okay with that. I've been doing this long enough that I get it.
I'd argue that's a good thing because, when podcasts are a fantastic way, and just content marketing in general is such a great way to build trust and authority because you're doing multiple things at the same time, right? You're creating content, which is a snowball effect for SEO. And as you said, some people that are watching this may not like you for whatever reason. So you're pre-qualifying people, right? You're not gonna waste time on chemistry calls, on discovery calls with people who are not going to be a good fit anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's not like Thanksgiving dinner, right? Where you got to bite your tongue because your Aunt Martha is talking about politics and then Uncle George is talking about, religion or something. And you're like, okay, I just don't want to get into this. Let's get over dinner. As a brand, especially a personal brand, you want to have some controversy, right? You need to dictate what you stand for and what you stand against. At The Powerful Man, we are against this idea that you have to grind and hustle in order to be successful, because you don't. You just really don't. Most men fall into this trap. We've been, guys especially, women too, but guys especially, because that's who I work with. They are sold this idea that if I put my head down and I bust my ass, then everybody's going to love and respect me. When they hit late 30s, early 40s, and they're kind of going, wait a minute. They're either A, I made my money and I'm successful, or B, I didn't. And where is everybody? Where are my friends, that I sacrificed Friday nights going out because I was building this thing? Where's this woman that I married or man person I married that I vowed to be with my whole life? Who are they now? And they've lost it along the way. And what you get to do here is you get to create things that you're against, which creates friction in the marketplace. And with friction in the marketplace, one, like you said, you're pre-qualifying people. Two, the algorithms, for better or worse in social media, they'll promote you more if you have some friction and controversy. And look, Michael, you know me, and I know your listeners probably don't, but I'm a pretty, easygoing guy. Like I'm not very controversial. I'm like the guy next door that most people know. I've got kids. I've got 2 little kids, 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. I'm married. I'm running a business. Pretty typical. I run down the middle on almost all topics and none of the extremes. There are certain things, though, that I have to stand for. And, to your point, when you're using social media and omnipresence and you're actually out there promoting your business, you do want to pre-qualify people because you don't want to get on phone calls with people who, aren't for you. We have a competitor, and this competitor, a lot of their stuff has a military tone to it. You need to go down to the beach. You need to punch another guy in the face to be a man. Everything's about war and, crushing people. And, that's great, but that's not the guys we attract at the Powerful Man. The guys we attract we have a thing called the beer test, right? Is a guy who has to pass the test. You would go get a beer with him. And a lot of our guys don't drink. So, I mean, that's just a theory. We also say we don't attract assholes. That's something we talk about all the time. There's no men, as you know, because you're involved in the movement. There's men the guys aren't jerks. We just don't attract that thing. And you have to do that in your marketing to let them know. There's going to be a lot of guys that are going to watch this that might be attracted to more of that idea that I have to be this warrior going out there and conquering everybody. They're not going to like me, right? Because that's not who I am. That's not what I believe in. I'm a family guy. I'm a businessman, a family guy, and I want to help other men save their marriages and get out of their rut and help them discover who they are. So I need to communicate that in my marketing effectively, and then do it a lot. And my guess is, knowing you the way I do, is you'll use this content many times, and you'll repurpose this content like you probably tell your clients to do. And that allows you to get out there and create authority, because you can't create authority if people don't know who you are. And then you get to prove yourself. Can you actually do those things you say you're going to do?
Love it. I love it. So tell us about how Doug Holt and how the Powerful Man establishes authority with prospects externally, but also with your clients internally, with active clients, because that's important too, right? You got to look at both sides of it.
You're 100% correct. So we put out a lot of content. So we do podcasts similar to the one you're doing. We do it internally. We release 3 podcasts a week. And we broadcast those podcasts and those shows across the internet. And my thinking along this, Michael, I'm sure is similar to yours, is I don't want to just put it on Facebook, or I don't want to just put it on TikTok or whatever channel it is, because the men that we serve, my avatar, the guys we serve, which happens to be you or me in this case, right? They can be anywhere. I want to meet my customer where they're at, right? Because right now you have 3 kinds of people that you're talking to at any given time. You have people who don't know they have a problem and don't know they have a solution. Okay. So I want them to randomly find me and go, oh, wait a minute. My wife said something the other day that it caught me, because us guys, sometimes, we don't pick up on the subtle clues, and well, over 70% of divorces are initiated by the woman, Michael. And if your wife has a college degree or greater, that goes to 90%. 90% of those divorces. And when you smack that against the fact that over 50% of divorces, 50% of marriages end in divorce, odds aren't in our favor, as guys. So we need those clues. So that's the first audience I need to speak to. People who don't know they have a problem yet, and therefore don't know there's a solution. The second group that we do, right? And this is going to be people who know they have a problem, but aren't aware of the Powerful Man. Right. So we want to be the solution that they choose if they meet our criteria. We have an application guys have to fill out. And so when doing that, that's where we're going to be really looking at our email list, right? Because they know they have a problem. We want to attract them to that email so we can market to them, and to our other channels. They start subscribing to groups and things that we're doing and following us. And the third group is people who know they have a problem and know that we are a solution. And they're us probably know there's other solutions potentially out there for them, marriage counseling or things like that, although it doesn't work for our guys. So we want to also market to them. So the podcast that we put out targets the second category, right? Guys that know there's a problem, but maybe aren't aware of the solution quite yet, right? They want to maybe find us, but our current clientele listen to it. So we'll incorporate testimonials and stories. We've worked with thousands of businessmen, as you know, and we'll put those testimonials in there and other assets so that it resonates with them and they get to hear themselves. We're including them into the movement, right, of what we're doing. And we have a private community for the guys. Things we talk about are very private. And so we have a private community for our men. And in there, we're also doing marketing. because we're doing master classes, education. So we got to spin that a little bit, and we got to make sure that they're being seen, because what's going to happen when, same thing with your show here, is people who are going to watch it regularly are going to identify themselves as somebody who watches a show about creating authority, right, in the digital space. And so you want to keep catering to that audience as well.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's really about, and correct me if you see this a different way. Let's chat about it. But I see it as almost, you're really building culture. Whether you're doing it externally with prospects or internally with existing clients, you're creating, the powerful man culture. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. This is what we don't stand for, right? These things that you talked about. And especially with a private community of these businessmen, continuing to market within that private community is marketing almost feels like a little bit of a, not the right word. I want to say a sleazy word, but that's not it either. But you know what I mean? It's kind of, you're kind of building culture.
Yeah. You brought triggered my memory for a story. So we now have a whole kind of department, if you will, on internal marketing, as we call it, right? Yeah. So marketing to our guys. And before we didn't. And so we didn't do a lot of internal marketing. And what happened, this is a couple of years ago, is some of our guys, they saw other options that are out there in the world. There's a lot of options. I don't care if you're a lawyer, a dentist, if you sell coaching for men or digital marketing, whatever it is, there's going to be competition. There's going to be alternatives, probably not as good as yours, but there's going to be alternatives. And so our guys that we work with started, even though they love our programs and they stay in it, right? We have a super high retention rate because we deliver. Yeah. They still saw other people's programs out there and they weren't seeing ours. So we were no longer becoming top of mind. So we started to run into a problem where guys would come to us and say, hey, look, I'm thinking about taking the XYZ program, or I'm thinking about doing this other thing. And that made us scratch our heads because we're like, man, we do that. Like, why would they not want to do ours? And it was because they were on TikTok, or at the time it was Instagram or something, scrolling in the bathroom or wherever somebody scrolls Instagram. And they were just seeing that kind of material, right? And repetition. We all know in marketing, you need that repetition. You need that face always out there. So when we started switching that, Michael, and we started doing more internal marketing or marketing to our guys and just showcasing them, and really it's delivering value, that whole conversation flipped on its head, and the guys keep coming to us, and they're signing up for new programs. They're finding the value within what we do because they already know us, they already like us, they already trust us. So they'd rather be repeat customers. Yep. And when you look at any business, almost all businesses, when I go into as a consultant, they all talk about front-end sales. How do we attract more leads? How do we get more people? But really where most revenue is made in a business is in retention. And very few people are talking about retention. And I think that's exactly what you're leading us to.
That's why I was just going to bring that up. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I know that, it costs geometrically less money to retain a customer than it does to go out and acquire a new one and bring them into the fold.
Yeah. But how many business owners are talking about retention a lot? Because it's not as sexy. We want to look at lead flow and all these other things where retention is really, in my opinion, what matters. And especially what I do, because I love these guys. These guys are amazing men who have bettered themselves for themselves, their families, and their businesses. I get to talk about business with guys all over the world that are great family men. As you know, you've been to some of our events, whether it be Costa Rica, Cuba's coming up that we're doing for these guys. I know. Awesome. I can't wait to see you in person, man. And, I want to be around more of those guys. And so why would I spend so much time, trying to convince a guy that our program works when I've got thousands of guys who already know our program works and they want more?
I love it. So you've answered my next question already. It was how to maintain trust and authority once it's been established. And that is, at the Powerful Man, you guys have established an internal marketing team that reminds people, that keeps TPM, the Powerful Man, on the tip of tongue, top of mind.
You're 100% right. And, before that, we used Boxer. We've used Boxer. You are a client, you are one of our vendors, and you bring in people that can really help you grow and move quickly. and you guys helped us set up the processes and everything else that we use, and we still use you guys for a variety of things coming through. So I really appreciate all the work that you and your team do to set this up. When we look at moving forward, you got to be consistent. It's like exercise, right? People think marketing is like, think of it as exercise. You can't go to the gym, smash it one day, and expect to be ripped the rest of your life. It does not work. I've tried it. I've tried it. Trust me, I'm looking for every hack possible. I'm 45 now. I'm always looking to cut down my time. Can't have as many breakfast burritos as I used to have, Michael, and they don't result in the same outcome. But point is, you have to be consistent. You need to put your marketing in the brush your teeth category, not the get a massage category. And what I mean by that is hopefully you brush your teeth at least once every single day, right? Massage for some of us once a month, once a year, right? Just kind of happens when you need one or somebody gives you a gift certificate. That's fine. Your marketing needs to be in the brush your teeth category. It's something you're doing consistently. And if you don't have a marketing background or a team, you need to work with a professional. And guess what? Not all marketing agencies and people can focus on omnipresence or authority creation, right? You have SEO guys, you got email guys and everything. And unfortunately, a lot of them say they can do it, but they don't have that focus. And, I'm not, if marketing is that important to your business, and I think it's one of the most important things in business. Peter Drucker, the famous business mind, said, if you boil business down, it comes to marketing and innovation, right? For a company, then why would you trust it to someone who isn't a professional in that area? Like I don't go to my mechanic and ask him to work on my teeth. Like I go to a dentist, and if I need specialty work, I go to a specialty dentist.
I love it. I love that Drucker quote. It boils down to marketing and innovation. I think it's very telling that Drucker did not include sales in there.
Yeah.
Because and tell me if you agree with me on this. If your marketing is so good that you're able to go through that funnel of get them to know you so they can like you, so that they can trust you, then the sale becomes easy. They'll almost sell themselves because they trust you so much and they've been exposed to enough of your content, right? That they understand that you can deliver what they need.
Yep.
And the sale's easy.
Yeah. I mean, so the way that I look at this, if you're doing this right, an authority creation takes some time, right? Look, it just takes some time to do it. You need to be consistent. I wouldn't do it if you're not willing to go all in for 6 months at least, right? And maybe longer, but go all in for 6 months. And then you get this kind of flywheel, effect going into your business, and people start to walk themselves in, right? Look, if people identify, they understand that their problem, and if they believe you have a solution, they're going to come in, and then the questions are, they're going to give you the classic objections. I don't have enough time. I don't have money. Those are the two that everybody gives you across the board. Everybody listening to this gets the same objections on every sale, right? Yep. No matter how much you're trying to help somebody. However, if your marketing is good, right, their pain point is high enough and they believe you can help them, and that comes through marketing, then they just walk right in, right? They're like, look, solve my problem. Here's my credit card. I don't want to deal with this problem anymore.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. This is great. This is great stuff, man. What does Doug Holt and the Powerful Man do? How do you guys handle situations where trust and authority are challenged or broken altogether?
Oh, well, so hopefully we never break the trust, right? That's first and foremost. But, in being in the online world, there's so many trolls out there. I mean, they just are. My business partner, Tim, said, because he looks at a lot of the comments. I don't, because I produce so many of them. But our team will go in there and just answer questions. There was a guy that commented, I think, on one of our posts on Facebook. We try to produce so much material and give it away for free. He said, "Oh, you guys look like two douchebags," is what he said, or something along those lines. And it's pretty much a direct quote. And so we go in there and we say, "Hey, appreciate the feedback. We're trying our best. We've never claimed to be models, as you can see. We do our best to be authentic and be honest with everybody and help and give as much value as possible to men, so we can really help out." And most people don't know the number 2 cause of death in the United States and also in Europe for men 14 to 44, you can look this up on the CDC website or go to the UK website, is suicide for men. And so when we educate people on that, because it's not talked about, usually these guys that are behind the keyboard probably had a couple drinks, think they're being funny, or just, whatever's going on in their life.
Mm-hmm.
What we do is try to spin that around and try to serve them. And what happens, Michael, not all the time, I'm going to make up a statistic and say 6 or 7 out of 10 times is we end up turning that comment around. Other people see you being beneficial, right? And so you're building more trust and more authority on that time.
I love it. I love that, taking those negative comments and spinning them on their head and reframing it in such a way that you're actually able to serve them in their negativity.
Yeah. I mean, another way, if for some reason your authority's been broken, let's just say mine has, somebody challenges it and says, Doug, you don't have a PhD in clinical psychology. I don't, no doubt about it. But I have hundreds of testimonials from men just like you who go through the program and come out the other side. And, they say almost every time, what do they say, Michael? Because you've heard these guys, I wish I would have done this sooner. I've got hundreds upon hundreds of these, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that can give me authority. And now I get to put that back out into the marketplace or into online or whatever else it may be.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll help you reestablish your authority, because you're saying, look, like, I know I'm saying a lot of stuff that I can help you, but I also have this proof over here of all of these people that I've helped previously. So it's not just me saving my marriage. Through this methodology, the activation method, we've helped hundreds and hundreds of people.
Yeah, I love it. That's great. Doug, you've been doing this a long time. You've been doing marketing a long time. And you've already shared some examples and some tips and strategies, but can you share with us some more tips and strategies for building trust, for building authority, specifically in a digital environment for our listeners?
I think you're doing it right now, right? So you, Michael, are providing value to the audience. So anybody that's listening to this, so Michael went out, he's asking for people that he knows, tapping his network, saying, hey, look, I want to provide value. There's no cost to this. I don't think you're selling this to anybody or anything.
Nope.
You're just providing value. So it also gives you a chance to share your authority. I know you're an expert in this, and yet you're allowing me to speak a lot. And I appreciate that, because you could just run this whole podcast all day and it would be informative. It'd be funny. I know your personality. So that allows you to create from the beginning this authority, right? Now once you've got that, you've now got to get it out there to people. People need to have eyeballs on you, right? People need to see you. We can't touch and feel as much as we used to be able to do in this economy. So people really want to know who you are. And this medium, digital marketing, allows you to do so, and allows you to exponentially get your message out there. And that's how you start to begin to produce your authority, to get your name out there. But you got to do it. Do not let perfection stop you from starting. Right. And again, if this is not your expertise, if you weren't, I am a marketer. So this comes naturally to me. I don't do any of my own accounting, right? I hire a professional to do my accounting or bookkeeping. I'm not the guy you want playing with an Excel spreadsheet. I can do it, but that's not my strong suit. And for most of your listeners, my guess is learning the ins and outs of the TikTok algorithm or Facebook Reels or Instagram Reels or whatever else it is, isn't their strong suit. So you got to stay in your lane, stick to what you do best, and then hire the rest. Outsource it to somebody that actually has the expertise, like your agency, Michael, that can actually do it for you.
All right, I love it. Doug, you mentioned TikTok, you mentioned Facebook, Instagram Reels, and kind of knowing and understanding kind of the ins and outs of those different platforms. How important is this idea of being omnipresent on multiple social networks? How important is that idea of omnipresence in building trust and authority?
Huge. Absolutely huge. So imagine a user journey during a given day. So I get up in the morning, I get on my phone, and maybe I got a ping and I check because somebody tagged me in a Facebook video or photo. And I'm on there and I see Michael Pacheco. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll watch the video. It's informative. Michael gave me a tip. Awesome. As I'm going through my day, I'm stuck in line, right? Somewhere in the DMV, right? I'm stuck in line waiting. And I decide I'm going to watch some TikTok videos because they're entertaining, they're fun. It's a stressed out day. And lo and behold, there's Michael Pacheco again with another video that is informative and entertaining to me. Right. That's interesting. Now you become relational to me. You're showing up in my world where I am, not where you expect me to be or want me to be. And then I'm going home and I'm going to go on LinkedIn and answer some messages on LinkedIn because right now I'm hiring some people. And this is literally what happens. And what? Michael Pacheco again. And now Michael Pacheco becomes my friend, this guy that I see. He's delivering value, right? The law of reciprocity is if I do something for you, you want to naturally do something for me and vice versa. That starts to take effect. It's basic psychology. I'm also very familiar now with Michael Pacheco. I understand who he is. I understand what he does in his services. And most of the time, maybe not all the time, but maybe all the time, he's providing me with value and it's entertaining. That helps me grow my business. And that's what you're doing right now, Michael. And then on the drive home, I'm listening to a podcast. And who am I going to listen to? Michael Pacheco, right? I'm going to go because I know you deliver the goods. I know each and every time I listen, you deliver the goods and it's helping me grow my business. So that's helpful. That helped me get to my goals. And that's why it's important to be everywhere, guys. You just have to be. You got to meet your customer where they are, not where you just want them to be. Not everybody's on Facebook. Not everybody's on TikTok. Not everybody's on Instagram or LinkedIn. And at the particular time that you have the option of being seen, I don't know how many millions of videos get uploaded to YouTube, but I can tell you that most of my ideal customer watches YouTube on their TV. All right? They watch YouTube like they watch TV, right? These guys are businessmen who are looking at bettering themselves. So they're going to watch informative videos on YouTube. So gosh, I better be there too.
Yeah. I think YouTube is something, it's like thousands of hours per minute is uploaded to YouTube. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, currently what we're doing is we have a huge push for YouTube Shorts, right? Because the YouTube algorithm, as you know, because I think you're the one that shared this with me, the YouTube algorithm is really pushing YouTube Shorts, which then pushes your channel more. But again, you have to be so on this, right? You have to be on this every day. And if you're not, guys, you need to find somebody else to help you out. Like that's the secret: consistency and working with a professional.
Nice. Doug, would you talk a little bit about how trust and authority can affect the decision-making process for prospects or customers, the buying decisions, right? The decision-making process for prospects and customers.
Oh, it's huge. I mean, you think about car manufacturers, right? As an example, right? There's certain brands. If I say a brand, you're going to have an automatic association, even if I don't talk about the model of car or anything else, right? You're just going to have an association of that car. If I say Prius, you have the person who drives the Prius, you have in your mind versus if I say Ford F-250, right? Or whatever, you're going to have some kind of thing around the brand. Or if I say Mercedes-Benz, Bentley, right? Those brands already have a perceived value to them or where you think that brand is. So you need to do that as well. And it helps the sales process entirely. Basically allows you to that sale to walk in. If you're going to a Mercedes-Benz dealer, are you going there because you're looking for a deal? No, money's not the biggest objection for you, right? That's not that you don't go to Mercedes-Benz dealer. If you're going to a used car lot, that's a different buyer. You're having a different experience. And when you look at some of these brands who have lost their trust and authority, Volvo, I think it was a perfect example when they got caught cheating on emissions. Right? I think it was Volvo.
And it was their diesel engines, something like those. Yeah.
Yeah. They had a chip in there that was programmed that when it got smog tested or when it went through, it changed the way it performed and then it turned off. So they were cheating the tests so they could have lower emissions ratings, better gas mileage, and all these things. And when that came out, they lost a ton of money because they lost trust. And then they had to go on this huge authority trust building campaign, which had to cost them hundreds of millions of dollars to regain the trust. And hopefully, really what they're trying to do is wipe out the past in people's minds. And so if you're doing things right and you're doing things ethically, really it's just about showing up. You don't have to worry about that. But however, in a modern day, like some things happen and you need to have that authority to build that trust.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Doug, I want to be conscious and respectful of your time here. Just a couple more questions. What are 3 books that you recommend that your men in the Powerful Man that you recommend all of them read?
Around marketing and authority, or just in general? That's a big question, because we have thousands of men that come through this movement. We have over 100,000 men that are on our email list alone. So
mix it up.
We'll talk about marketing. I think marketing, if I would talk about this subject on authority, I think the book Expert Secrets covers it well, right? Mm-hmm. Gives you a good framework to work through. I also think Alex Hormozy's book, which is, you're going to have to help me with this one. I know you know it. Some offers.
$100 million offers.
$100 million offers. Also a great book. And the third one I'll throw out there, because I think most people miss this, is Building a Brand Story. Right? Or Story Brand.
Story Brand is the one. Yeah.
Thank you. Donald Miller. Yeah. I can't remember all the titles of these. So for our guys, we teach them whole master classes based on some of these concepts and more, but those are 3 at the top of my head that come up that I think really people, want to look to, and start there. And you can also, listening to a podcast like this, really, Michael, what's happening is people are, instead of just reading all these books, they're getting all the knowledge and information, theoretical and practical, condensed in a way that they can digest. And, some people are probably driving their car. Some people are at the gym going for a run or walking the dog or whatever else it may be. This is an easy way when you're bringing on guests that people can get those tidbits and information and get them distilled down into manageable chunks.
Yeah. Love it. Is there anything, Doug, that you would like to talk about that we haven't had an opportunity to touch upon?
Oh, there's so much. I have questions for you, and maybe we'll do a follow-up at some point, and we can chat about it. What I really want to encourage people, because I know when I started out building authority for our brand, it was scary, right? Especially what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how to save your marriage, right? And look, everybody I know has had hard marital problems, but we don't talk about them. So I had to get uncomfortable being in camera and talking about things, right? How do you do this? Messing up and you're like, oh, my hair's off, or, oh, geez, what are you going to do? And look, I'm doing pre-cancer, like our cancer cell treatment, where I'm putting this stuff all over my face. I'm doing this right now every night, and it makes my face look like hamburger meat. Yet here I am on a podcast. We're actually recording video too. You get over that stuff. You just stop. You realize that nobody else cares about the way you look or how you sound or anything else. You get to show up to be yourself, but it starts with doing your first video. You got to do the first step. Take action. That's what I'd recommend. I wish somebody would have really hounded that to me early on, is you got to start now, because there's somebody else in your industry in looking at the spot that you want to go to, the place that you want to be, and they're taking steps, and they're going to grab your market share unless you start. So start today, imperfect action. And if you can afford it, grab an agency like Michael's. There's other agencies out there that do this for you. Work with them, work with a professional, and that is going to help you exponentially expand your reach, your authority, and it's going to make your sales drive. You're going to have more fun with your customers, and you're going to enjoy the experience in this journey much, much better.
Love it. I love it. Doug, do you have, is there anything that you'd like to pitch? You got any free offers? Where can people learn about Doug Holt and the Powerful Man online?
Yeah, I don't have a pitch. However, if you're a married businessman, I get it, right? I've been there. I've had marital problems. I've had business problems. We work with married business owners, males, and executives of larger companies, and we do that exclusively. We have other offerings for other men that are out there. We're actually coming up with programs for women because we get so many questions. But go over to thepowerfulman.com. We have a podcast. We have over 600 episodes. We give away our information for free, Michael, as you know. But we also have expert coaches, I think the best in the world, that are on our team because we're on a mission to change this world, one person at a time. You change the man, they can change the family can change the community can change the area can change the continent, and they can change the world that way. So we're approaching it that way. So if you guys are interested in finding out more of what we do, go over to thepowerfulman.com. And if you want to save your marriage without having to talk about it, we have a program called the Activation Method that we currently have, I think, about 3 or 4 slots for the next group that's filling up. And it's an absolute, as you know, Michael, an amazing experience and a great group of guys. But remember, guys, we don't work with jerks. So I'm going to assume that none of you are. We just don't do it. We only work with great men.
I love it. Doug, thank you so much, man. It is always a pleasure to get together with you and chat. So I want to thank you so much for making the time. I know your schedule is crazy. So thank you for making the time to sit down and chat with me about this.
Absolutely love it, Michael. And I appreciate all that you're doing and the value that you're delivering to your audience.
Cheers, brother. Thank you again. And thank you, as always, to our listeners and viewers. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Authority's Edge with Michael Pacheco. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we'll see you on the next episode.